All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Speaker Series. It's the first one of the new year. You're going to be very fortunate you jumped on this one today. It's going to be a great call with one of our alumni, Kevin McDevitt, class of '93 from Ryken. Actually grew up here as well in Leonardown. If you could just put your mics on mute like normal, and if you have questions during the call, you can put them in the chat, and I will ask Kevin once he's done. He's going to talk for about 15-20 minutes and kind of tell his story, which is an incredible story. Like I said, you're going to hear some great stuff today and give yourself some momentum as we go into 2021 and keep pushing forward through some tough times, right? But he's going to talk about his career. Here's a quick snapshot of Kevin. Graduated here in '93, went on to Salisbury University, and actually got a degree in biology and medical technology, which he's going to talk about that. Because as you know, he's a lawyer now, a very successful one in the whole state of Maryland and the country. He actually, after graduation, spent a lot of time on the Chesapeake waterways, which he's going to talk about as well. And then he decided to go to law school in Baltimore and concentrate in criminal law and litigation. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin. Really excited to have you today, Kevin, and it's your floor. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here speaking with you through the SMR Professional Speaker Series. I'd like to especially thank you, Coach Brady, for the opportunity. I mean, how many people get the opportunity to come back and address their high school that they went to and that they felt so lucky to have been able to attend.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, I really appreciate the invite, and I'm really looking forward to being with you all here today. So after I agreed to speak with you all today, earlier this week, I walked down the hallway and spoke to a colleague of mine, a fellow lawyer, Phil Dorsey, that I was going to let him know that I was going to be doing this. And he let me know that back when he was a senior at St. Mary's Ryken in 1974, he remembered a lawyer coming to St. Mary's Ryken to talk about what it was like to be a lawyer back then. And that lawyer was Ernie Bell, who I believe might have been class of 1959 or 60. And so Phil Dorsey said he had very vivid memories of that day, and I don't expect many of you to remember this presentation or this discussion 40 years from now. I'll be grateful if you can just kind of avoid the distractions that you guys are having to deal with in 2021 to just be able to remember a little bit of what we're talking about today, maybe a week from now. But it is a pleasure to be here with you today. So a little bit about me. So my name is Kevin McDevitt. I have a family a beautiful family, a beautiful wife, and two amazing children, Molly and Tyler. My wife, Jenny, she might be watching. We live down south of St. Mary's College on a little farm with two a chocolate lab and a yellow lab. I enjoy doing things like duck hunting, I bow hunt, I sail, I like to go fishing on the bay, I fly fish. It's a passion of mine. Me and my dad and my brother, we go out west and we fly fish, and that's kind of like our thing. During COVID, we drove out west. It was awesome. But that's what I love to do. I love I love spending time with my family and doing those activities. But I'm also a lawyer, and I really, really love being a lawyer. I feel very fortunate to have found a profession, a vocation that I really have a lot of pride in and feel so lucky to be a part of. I get a tremendous amount of satisfaction from being an attorney, and I feel very grateful for that. So I love what I do. I wake up every day with a new challenge, new things to see and learn. I feel like my work is extremely important, and but it's great. I'm my own boss. Okay, I run a small law firm in Leonardown. I do almost exclusively criminal defense. There's all different kinds of lawyers out there, and you can decide what kind you want to be after you finish law school. I decided I wanted to be a criminal defense lawyer, and I'm lucky enough, since I own my own practice, to be able to pick and choose the cases I decide to get involved with. I do mostly lower level criminal charges in the district court, misdemeanors mostly, but I also do regularly handle very serious felonies, murder, rape, robbery, arson, things like that. I'm currently handling a manslaughter case right now that occurred, vehicular manslaughter case that occurred less than a mile from your school. But I really love what I do. I feel like it's so important. The consequences of a conviction is devastating. I mean, being put in a jail cell or in a cage really is such a penalty that it's so important to work hard to help these people that come to me for help. So in my work, I get to represent people from all walks of life, but the majority of my clients are not what you would imagine as a criminal. Most of my clients have security clearances or are former military. They're professionals oftentimes. They have families and children. They have educations, and they just simply made a mistake or had a really bad day, and they want to recover from it. They want to make it right. And I try to help them understand that it's not about the mistake that they made that should define them, that it's about what they did to make it right. And a lot of them get that and they move forward. And I'm able to help a lot of people like that. I've had the opportunity to represent people like professional athletes. I've represented people from the NFL, professional lacrosse, professional soccer, professional hockey. I've represented doctors, lawyers, police officers, detectives. I represented people from basically every branch of the military. Making a mistake is human, and it happens. And when you make a mistake and it's against the law, you can get charged with a crime, and that's what I like to try to help people with. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about how I ended up being a lawyer. I'll let you know right from the start that I didn't know I wanted to be a lawyer until I was about 23 years old, so after college. And my path was probably pretty similar to a lot of people's. But I might have been a little bit older than the average person in law school, but there was a lot of people much older than me. I started law school at about 25.
Oh, wow.
But my upbringing, I think, had a lot to do with how I ended up in law school. So my parents instilled in me very early on that education was very important. Although I never really had very good grades growing up, I still understood the importance of a good education. So my parents really probably had the most to do with why I'm where I'm at. Awesome. My dad and mom met while my dad was in college. He was studying at Villanova to be an electrical engineer, and he met my mom, who was a secretary in the, I think, geology department there. And they met and they got married, and they moved down to St. Mary's County in the late 60s. And my dad got a job on this base called Nessie, which is now called Webster Field. It's an annex of the Pax River Naval Air Station. And he worked there at that base until basically like a couple years before he retired. I grew up in Great Mills in Greenview Knolls off of Chancellor's Run Road. I have two sisters and a brother. I have a handicapped sister named Dina. And I have a sister named Jill, who's a nurse, and I have a brother, Michael, who's a teacher, a history teacher. And we grew up in Great Mills, and we had a normal upbringing. And my mom worked at Walden as an administrative assistant. And Walden, if you're familiar with Walden, it's like a behavioral health center. They help people with addiction issues and in crisis. So I went to Little Flower School. I went to Esperanza, and then I went to St. Mary's Ryken. And I was very fortunate to go to St. Mary's Ryken because of the students and the teachers and faculty and the coaches that were there. And you all are extremely fortunate to be able to go to a school like Ryken. And if you don't recognize it now, you'll appreciate it later. But I really felt very grateful to have been given the opportunity to go to Ryken. Made an amazing.
I'm showing your picture right now.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
Freshman year. When you
Oh yeah. Great. There I am. All right. So that's me on the cross country team. So Ryken, as I was saying, was great to me. Made amazing friendships. I got married in 2014 to my beautiful wife Jenny, and in my wedding party was 4 people from the class of 1993, and then my wife's sister is also from the class of 1993. She was in the wedding party. Her name's Melissa. She is also a lawyer, and so there was 2 lawyers from our graduating class in 1993. Melissa, who runs her own law firm down in North Carolina and focuses on family law, and myself, who does criminal defense. But the relationships that were made at Ryken are still with me today, and I feel very grateful for that. So my experience at Ryken was positive, but it wasn't all rainbows and butterflies. I experienced a setback pretty early on. Before school even started, I went to try out for the soccer team, and I remember arriving on campus for the tryouts and seeing this guy who would later become a friend of mine, and he had like a full-grown beard, like a grown man. I remember seeing him. His name was Mike Price. He's a chef in Manhattan now. But I thought to myself, oh my goodness, that guy, who is that? And he might be the coach, but it turned out he was a freshman as well. And I remember seeing another guy, a guy named Josh Goodman. He might have been about 6 foot tall and 200 pounds. And I thought, this might not go well. But I tried out for the team. I did not make the team. It was devastating to me because I had played soccer my whole life, and I was pretty good. And so I was, pretty devastated by it. I remember going home after I got cut from soccer, and I remember crying in the shower. I remember it like very vividly. But I kind of got up, dusted myself off, and I went out, and as you can see, I joined the cross country team and made some great friendships on that team and had a great time. And the next year I tried out for the soccer team and I made the team. And then I played my junior year and senior year as well, and had a great time on those teams playing soccer. I also, after I got cut from that team and after cross country, I, at the request of Mary Southern, my 8th grade teacher at Esperanza, who was the wife of the coach, John Southern, who had, while I was in the 8th grade, was coaching the very first year of the lacrosse team, had told me once she found out I was going to Ryken that I might want to, consider trying out for the lacrosse team. And so she told me to give her husband a call and find out what kind of equipment I would need to get, like stick, lacrosse stick, etc. And so I did that, and he told me what I would need, and I tried out for the lacrosse team at probably maybe 73 pounds and made the team. And I was very grateful to have made that team, and it felt good. And I was very grateful that the coach gave me an opportunity to play. And so anyway, that was my kind of like my Ryken experience. It was just very good and positive. A lot of amazing teachers there and coaches. Brother Ram had a big impact on me when I was at Ryken. You all may not know about Brother Ram, but Brother Ram was a legend when I was there. He taught physics, calculus, chemistry, electronics, numerous calculus. He coached the varsity soccer team, and I think he coached the girls basketball team. He was also like in charge of cutting all the grass at school. And he was just really amazing and had a major impact on my direction. And when I went off to college after graduating, I went to Salisbury. I decided, in part because of my experience with Brother Ram, that maybe I would do chemistry. And so I started out as a chemistry major. And I pursued that. College was great. Salisbury was cool. I played on the club lacrosse team. I tried out for the regular lacrosse team, and they were like Division III national champions like every single year, pretty much. And so I did not make that team. It wasn't quite as devastating as getting cut from the soccer team. But I did also, instead of just giving up, I went and I played on the club team, and was a captain on the club team. And I also sailed on the sailing team. I ended up changing my major from chemistry and ended up graduating in 1997 with a Bachelor of Science with concentrations in biology and medical technology. I think when I was in college, I was thinking that what I would maybe want to do was something in forensics. I thought that maybe I would want to be, like not a medical examiner, but like maybe like arrive on crime scenes and try to figure that out. But after I graduated, I didn't end up doing that. I ended up graduating, and I got a job at the Chesapeake Biological Laboratory over in Solomons Island. It's part of the University of Maryland system, UMCES, University of Maryland Center for Environmental Studies. I got a job with Dr. Steve Brown, who was studying aquatic toxicology, which was in line with my background in college and my interests in the outdoors. And so I was able to work with him. We studied water toxicity. I got to go to Bermuda and study the effects of pesticide runoff at a golf course and its effect on fish. I was able to go to Western Maryland and study the effects of acid mine drainage on rainbow trout. And it was a great experience. I also, during that time there, during that 2 years, I decided I wanted to go to law school, that I didn't want to be in that field. I thought maybe I would. I thought maybe I might go become a PhD or something like that. I talked to my dad, maybe I might want to go work on the base, but I ended up deciding to go to law school. While I was taking the LSAT, I took a LSAT prep course. I remember my parents got me a LSAT prep course through Kaplan for my birthday, went up to the University of Maryland and learned how to take the LSAT, took the LSAT. And while I was studying for the LSAT, I transferred jobs. I ended up working on a research vessel, got to travel around the bay, worked, in the middle of January, traveling across the bay with ice all over the boat. It was a great experience. But I knew then that I really wanted to be a lawyer. And after I took the LSAT, I applied to law schools, and I got into the school that I wanted to go to, the University of Baltimore, and had a great experience there. So while I was in law school, I decided that I would see if I could maybe get a job in the field. And after my first semester, and this is in line with what Coach Brady does, other than coaching, I know he works with internships. I decided to go see if I could get an internship. And I remember after my first semester of law school, driving to Leonardown, and I was familiar with where the courthouse was from having a speeding ticket. And so I went to the courthouse, and I went to the clerk's office, and I walked up there and I said, "Hey, my name's Kevin. I'm in law school. I'm hoping to see if maybe I could talk to the judge and maybe do an internship." And they looked at me like, never heard that before. And they said, "Hold on a minute." And they went into the back, and next thing you know, about 5 minutes later, I was invited back to go speak with a judge. And there I was in chambers 5 minutes after I'd went in there speaking with Judge Kenny. Judge Kenny is an appellate judge on the Maryland Court of Special Appeals. And I was in his chambers, and I was letting him know about me and what I was hoping to do. And sure enough, he let me work with him that next summer. He agreed to, after my first year was over, to let me work volunteer in his chambers. And I just had an amazing time with Judge Kenny. I got to work with his law clerk at the time, Linda Springrose, who was brilliant. She's since passed away, but she was just so good to me, and so was he. And I was very fortunate for that opportunity, and I'll never forget it. After that, I decided, hey, look, maybe I can do this and try to get into the state's attorney's office in Baltimore City. And so after my clerkship was over that summer, I said, well, I'm going to go to Baltimore on my way back to school and see if I can park out front of the courthouse and go inside and introduce myself like I did with Judge Kenny. And so I remember doing that, and I went into the building I thought was the courthouse one day. It turned out to be the police department. So I remember walking in, and the cops were like, by the metal detector, they're like, who are you here to see? I was like, the state's attorney's office. And they were like, you're in the wrong place, but what do you need to see them for? I was like, well, I was hoping to make contact with the homicide division and maybe do an internship. And they were like, are you a lawyer? And I was like, no. They were like, well, you got to be a lawyer for that. And I was like thinking, okay, well, we'll see what they have to say. But I was like, well, where is it? And they were explaining it to me. And I just remember there was a FedEx guy in line behind me who was like, once I drop off this package, man, I'm on my way over there, and you can just follow me. And so, he took me to the courthouse. I remember going over to the circuit court, and I went up to the third floor and got to this door that said Violent Crimes Unit. And I went in and I spoke to the lady at the front desk and told her, who I was and what I was hoping to do, an unpaid internship. And just like with Judge Kenny, maybe 5 minutes later, I'm in the office of the head of the homicide division for the Baltimore City State's Attorney's Office, Mark Cohen. And he agreed to let me work there unpaid. And I eventually started getting paid after maybe about a month. And I worked there for 3 years. And then after I eventually passed the bar, and I didn't pass the bar the first time, but I didn't give up. I took the bar exam again, and then became a prosecutor. I got sworn in Mark Cohen's office. I worked in the state's attorney's office for Baltimore City State's Attorney's Office for probably about a year, and then I asked Mr. Fritz if I could come work for him down here in St. Mary's County, and he was kind enough to make a spot available for me. So I did that. I worked with Mr. Fritz. I was very fortunate to have that opportunity. I got to prosecute cases down here in St. Mary's County for about 3 years. Handled some violent crimes, some very violent cases, and I eventually decided that I wanted to go private, and so I've been private for about 13 years as a trial lawyer, and I really love what I do. What I will say is, along the way to get to where I'm at, there was a lot of roadblocks and a lot of obstacles. Failing the bar exam, things like that. I had a colleague tell me before I went private that that I wasn't trial lawyer material, that I'd be better off in a duck blind, and I didn't believe that. I felt like I was trial lawyer material, and I have been fortunate in my cases as a private lawyer to have very good results in a lot of my cases that have gone to trial. So what I will say is my path is not that different from other people's paths, but maybe there was a couple of roadblocks that other people didn't have, but certainly I've had less roadblocks in the way than other people have overcome. If I could just leave you with one piece of advice, I would probably say that you should set goals, and you should work very hard to obtain those goals, and be willing to adjust your course because things will happen that will require that. But don't let people tell you you can't do something that you know you can and that you want to do. It's better to go down swinging than to not try at all. And so while you're doing that, be on the lookout for people like Coach Southern or Brother Rom or the FedEx guy who might be there to help you find your way. And don't listen to the people that tell you that you belong in a duck line, even if you love being in a duck line. And so I'll leave you with this. I'll leave you with a quote from E. E. Cummings. So, to be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best night and day to make you everybody but yourself means to fight the hardest battle which any human being can fight, and never stop fighting. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to chat with you.
Fantastic. That was great. I think I have one question already. Hold on a second here. Okay, question. Did you have any scholarships for any sports in high school or out of high school? Or any scholarships you got, you know, how'd you pick Salisbury?
Yeah, good question. So my sister, who went to Ryken and graduated in 1988, she had gone to Salisbury and graduated the year before I went. I think she graduated in 1992 with a nursing degree. And so I was familiar with Salisbury.
Right.
No, I didn't get any scholarship offers. I did go meet with Jim Berkman, who was the coach. I think he still is the coach at Salisbury, and discussed, you know, the potential of, you know, trying out for the team. It's a very, very competitive team. I mean, they are at the top of their game every year. But no scholarship offers for me. I wasn't at that level.
I mean, I love your story about where you came from, what you had to go through. Obviously, the quote is something that I'm going to put on my wall for sure. And, you know, one question that students always ask, and you kind of touched on it about following your goals, but if you were a 16, 17-year-old at Ryken right now, you know, what advice, if they want to be a lawyer, you have any thoughts on going to college, what their major should be, or if they should get an internship somewhere in a law office? What would you tell them to do to find out if that's a good course for them?
That's a great question. So I would, you know, if you're interested in an area, whatever that area may be, law or whatever, you should, you know, learn as much as you can about it. And if you can, if you're lucky enough to get an internship in that area, I mean, what could be better than that? But you know, a lot of the kids that may be watching this or eventually watch it, you know, may be freshmen or sophomores, and you know, you got a long time to figure out what you want to be in your life. And you know, some people are blessed and they know exactly what they want to be their whole lives. You know, from the moment they're born, they're, you know, groomed into this, or they already know what they want. I personally, like I was just saying, I didn't know what I wanted to do until I was, you know, 23, and so I didn't start law school till 25. So.
We got one more question, Kevin, then we're going to cut it off. Did you ever think that what you wanted to achieve in college couldn't be obtained because of where you're from and the doubt that people had against you even in high school?
Yeah, no. You know, college can be challenging. The more difficult coursework you take, the more difficult it can be. But yeah, figure out what you want to do and work hard to accomplish it.
Sorry. I put Kevin's email on here. If you guys want to reach out to him, he's happy to answer any questions you might have in the future. He's right here in town. But again, thank you so much for your time. This was definitely inspiring, and just to hear your story and what you've accomplished and your beautiful family. It's awesome, man. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Coach Brady. It was an honor to be able to address the students, and I appreciate the invite and look forward to seeing you around.
Sounds good. All right, have a great day. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.